改めまして、皆さん本日は朝早くからテキサスメディカルセンターとのプログラムの説明会にご参加いただきありがとうございます。私、ジェプロ東京本部の中西が司会進行を務めさせていただきます。本日はテキサスメディカルセンターのメンバーと一緒にこのプログラムの概要やテキサス・ヒューストンのエコシステムについてお話しいたします。本日の説明会を通じて本プログラムに少しでもご興味を持っていただき、ご応募、ご検討いただければ幸いです。本題に入る前に、このテキサスメディカルセンターと実施するプログラムは、実は今年で2年目となります。昨年度はバイオテック分野のみを対象にリクルートをしていましたが、今年はバイオテックとさらにメドテックを対象にして分野を広げています。後ほど詳細を発表しますが、バイオテックとメドテックの渡航時期はそれぞれ異なるのでご注意ください。それではまず最初に TMC のエリアナからこのプログラムの概要とテキサス・ヒューストンのエコシステムについてご紹介いただきたいと思います。その後に具体的な応募方法等について私の方からご説明いたします。ご質問等ございましたら、随時画面下の Q&A チャットよりご記入ください。So, Ariana, could you please introduce yourself and give us an overview of the program and also the ecosystem of the Houston?
Yes, hello, Wakaba and everyone. We actually have an agenda with various team members providing a presentation overview of TMC ecosystem. But quickly to introduce myself, my name is Eliana Tuttle. I'm the Senior Manager of Program Management here at Texas Medical Center Innovation. But I will pass it over to my colleague, Devin, and I'll be talking shortly in a little bit in a different part of the presentation.
Thank you, Eliana. Hi, everyone. Devin Dunn. I am our Director of Innovation Accelerators and lead many of our programs where we're working with founders, particularly international founders who are looking at entering the US market. So today, we'd like to share a little bit about Texas Medical Center, our organization, the type of work we do, and this exciting opportunity that we have to partner with Jetro to work with Japanese biotech and medtech companies. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And as Eliana mentioned, we've brought many team members with us today, and we'll have a chance to introduce them along the way. So we'll go ahead and get started. So like I said, very excited to talk about the partnership that is now in its first year, but second cohort with Jetro, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. But as you think about Texas Medical Center and really what we're trying to do, we're a nonprofit organization. Our vision and mission is really to advance the most time and capital efficient life science ecosystem in the world. So that is a big vision. It's Texas big. And we'll share a little bit about what that looks like. And we'll start with a quick video where you can hear a little bit from founders themselves and a few members of our team on how we partner with international founders. I'll say that this video is about a year old, so doesn't yet include our wonderful partners in Japan, but we have a brand new video which we'll be sharing in the next few days that highlights some of our Japanese partnerships as well.
It's the biggest hospital city in the world. I have never seen so many hospitals in such a small space.
Being here is both a privilege and extremely exciting.
It's a bit like a parallel universe between here and the other side of the pond, to be honest.
You get introduced into a cookie factory, and now you're in Willy Wonka land. There's no other place like it on Earth.
We've got access here to clinicians, to stakeholders, to influencers.
Having on your doorstep, world-renowned institutions like MD Anderson, Houston Methodist, just across the road.
Getting into TMCI is another great traction point for us. Now we are on our way to bringing this product into the US healthcare market.
As an entrepreneur in healthcare, you need a few things that other entrepreneurs may not need. One of those is space. You need specialized space. you're a med device entrepreneur and you're thinking about, how do I make a prototype? I have this vision. How do I get that done? We started the Center for Device Innovation to do just that. And then we always think about capital. And so we started TMC Venture Funds. It's a $50 million fund. It does seed and Series A investments for the entrepreneurs and residents and the biodesign founders that we work with. They get access to that capital as well.
When we say we're focused on finding the best talent, that talent can be anywhere. So we look everywhere.
We have partnerships with Ireland, Australia, Netherlands. Specifically, we have 2 partnership programs, one with Denmark through the BioInnovate Institute, and then another program through the Innovate UK in United Kingdom.
The expertise of the TMC team is really important. They understand that really a structured program is required for these companies which are starting up in the US market.
We look at what startups' needs are, whether that's a client base, infrastructure, also workforce as well. Bringing talent that could be helping our entrepreneurs navigate all aspects of the startup journey.
We are building a life sciences community on a massive scale. And I think you need to be here to see it.
The types of companies that are interested in working with us is only giving me more energy.
TMC is offering to us really exposure to all of these essential steps in the go-to-market strategy.
We have access to a huge number of patients. So the data we can derive and understand here really is kind of second to none.
As an entrepreneur, if you're interested in med device, creating something new, a great new product, we can surround you with the stuff, the people, the talent, the capital for you to be successful here. And I think more and more people are starting to recognize that. And that's a ton of fun.
So we just interviewed one of our past JETRO cohort biotech companies a few weeks back, and we'll be excited to share her story in a similar video in the next few days. But I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of the ecosystem before we dive into the specifics around this particular program. So when you think about Texas Medical Center, we think about our 3 main campuses. And the campus that we're most well known for historically is, of course, our medical campus. And that's what many people think of when you hear Texas Medical Center, because it is quite large. It's one of the largest clinical cities, really, in the entire world. Over 10 million patients come here every year to be treated. It has one of the most diverse patient populations. Houston is the most diverse city in the United States. And over 120,000 employees come to work in the Texas Medical Center every day. There's also a tremendous amount of research that happens here in the TMC, over $1 billion in NIH and NCI funding, and over 2,000 clinical trials happening here annually. And really what that allows for is a really fertile testing ground for new technologies. And that's where we've built out our innovation platform that we'll talk more about today. So all of that tremendous size and scale is, of course, because of the amazing institutions that make the Texas Medical Center their home. So these are some of the larger big brand names that are here in the Texas Medical Center, leading oncology institutions like MD Anderson, one of the largest children's hospitals, pediatric hospitals in the country, in Texas Children's, leading innovators like Houston Methodist, and of course, our tremendous training facilities and medical schools and research institutions like Baylor and UT. So again, with all of that clinical density, it allows us to really create an environment where we can rapidly create and test new technologies. And that's really what the Innovation Factory is for. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the different pieces that we have. So over at the Innovation Factory, we've built what we like to call a thriving commercialization platform. We've worked with over 450 companies through our accelerator programs. We don't only support existing companies, but we work to create new companies as well. We have a few team members on the call who are part of that process. And we think about capital being a big part of that picture too. So have seeded over 30 companies from creation through Series B with our venture fund, which we can talk more about as well. So when we think about what we need to help entrepreneurs be successful here in the Texas Medical Center, we think about three main categories. We think about strategy and how we support our founders through either our accelerator programs like the one we'll talk about today, access to our network and talent here in the community, vetted resources that we or our companies have worked with in the past. We think a lot about specialized infrastructure, and you'll hear about both medical device labs and therapeutic labs today. And then, of course, we think about capital, both with our venture fund and our venture network more broadly. Our venture fund, you heard in the video, a $50 million fund, that is now nearly a $100 million venture fund. We've invested in 31 portfolio companies that have gone on to raise $1.6 billion. We have made international investments, and it's something that not all venture capital funds are comfortable with in the United States, but we are and have a track record of doing so. One of the other, on the funding front, one of the other really unique assets that we have here in Texas are two programs that help fund a lot of research and product development for companies that are going to grow here in Texas. The first of which is the Cancer Prevention Research Institute of Texas. It is now a $6 billion fund that has been reauthorized once and will go for reauthorization again next year. This is money that taxpayers in Texas have set aside to fund cancer research and product development. So companies that are in the oncology space that are interested in growing here in Texas have the opportunity to apply for this funding to support both seed and product development projects. And excitingly, last year, the same type of fund was established for dementia and related neurological conditions. So Texas will be rolling out this same structured program for dementia research and product development as well. Another exciting asset and something that the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas helped fund the creation of is some of our computational simulation capabilities. And I'd love to invite Naseem to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about that capability.
Thank you, Devin. And hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and we have a very great experience with previous JETRO team. I'm Naseem Beiranvand, and my background is I have a PhD in computational chemistry, and I have been helping a lot of different startups and also PI from academia for in silico drug design and drug discovery. A little bit about the core, the hardware and software that we have here. As you can see, we have 98 Xeon XPU, and also we have 4 NVIDIA GPUs. And we use all this for large simulations. We have softwares like Schrödinger commercial softwares, and we have some internal software and also some coding stuff that we can use for drug discovery and accelerate all these drug design projects. It can be from designing ligands, compounds at the very beginning, or simulating the entire structure of the protein, or helping you to optimize a lead that you already have decided to pursue for your project. We can also help you to implement AI, machine learning stuff workflow as a segment into your pipeline for your project. We also, for those are working on medical device, we have COMSOL multiphysics that we can use for heat transfer and also reaction system. We have almost like 50 modules of this COMSOL that we can use for project related to fluid flow and other stuffs. So this is my email here. If you have any question, how we can help you with computational simulation and evaluate your project, please feel free to email me, and I will be happy to meet with you and discuss the next steps for your project. And now I hand it back to Devin. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Naseem. So that's a little bit about some of kind of the overview of the ecosystem and some of the capabilities within the Innovation Factory. But that really brings us to the conversation that we're having today. And it was 5 or 6 years ago that TMC realized that one of the things we could do with the resources in our community is support international entrepreneurs who were looking to land here in the United States. And that is when we started developing our BioBridge relationships. And it started with Australia, added a few European countries since then. And it's really been in the last 2 years that we've been very excited to begin working with Japan and partners like JETRO. So when we think about working with our international founders, we take all the same principles that you've already heard about, that strategy support, the physical infrastructure that we have here, computational expertise, as well as the whole community here in Houston. But really, when we think about building a program for international founders, we think about 3 main components. And the one, and it may be most exciting, is our entrepreneurs in residence. And we have 2 of them on the call today. So I'd love to invite Dave and then Supriya just to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what a EIR is and how you support our programs.
Great. Thank you, Devin. Hi, everyone. My name is Dave McDonough. I'm the entrepreneur in residence for the Medical Device Labs. So I'm focusing on medical devices. I have a career of 35 years in medtech, everything from engineering, sales, marketing, business development. I ran a small medical device company just outside of Chicago for 10 years before being involved in an acquisition where I led the acquisition of early stage startup from the Texas Medical Center Innovation Factory. And it's through that I learned about this amazing community and this role of entrepreneur in residence. Just moved to Houston in September of last year to be the entrepreneur in residence. And to give you an idea of what I do at the Innovation Factory, I have really 2 parts to my job. One is to support companies like yours, entrepreneurs like you, with their companies. My expertise tends to be more in the operations and commercialization part of the journey, I find it helpful to talk to companies about their plans for launching their products and entering the U.S. market very early in their development. That tends to be very helpful. The other part of my time at the Innovation Factory is looking for a product opportunity to start my own company, which I am in the process of launching at the moment. So I'm not only speaking to companies about what I think is the right thing to do, I'm trying to do it myself for my own company. And I found that that's very helpful as well, because my advice and my thoughts and suggestions aren't theoretical. They're things that I'm actually doing and vendors that I'm actually working with as well. So I look forward to working with all of you, and I will pass it over to Supriya.
Thanks, Dave. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Supriya Sinha. I'm currently an entrepreneur in residence with Texas Medical Center's Accelerator for Cancer Therapeutics. As an entrepreneur in residence, similar to Dave, I serve as a mentor to early stage biotech companies, supporting them across venture formation, commercialization strategy, fundraising readiness, and development plan and corporate development. Very similar to Dave, I'm also trying to build my own company on the side. So there are two parts of the job where you try to launch your own company as well. So I have been in part of the accelerator for the last 2 years, and I've really enjoyed working with over 25 plus startups in the last 2 years to really help them move forward. By background, after I completed my PhD, I started my career in academic tech commercialization. I also spent some time in venture capital. I have been mainly spent the last 10 years in working and translating biomedical discoveries from university research into licensed technologies and startup opportunities. So I have really enjoyed interacting with the JETRO companies through the the first cohort in earlier this year. I'm looking to interact with more of you in the next cohort. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Supriya. So in addition to our entrepreneurs in residence that come with a wealth of knowledge, we also structure our programs around the core topics that we find are essential to building a U.S. go-to-market strategy. And you'll see more about the general outline of what those topics are for both biotech and medtech in just a few moments. But community is a big piece of what we do as well. I think we always underestimate how critical fellow founders can be in terms of just getting advice and being a sounding board for entrepreneurs. And so I'd love to invite Allie to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about our community.
Thank you, Devin. Hi, everyone. I'm Allie. I am the Innovation Outreach and Community Coordinator as part of the team. A little bit about my role. I lead our community initiatives here, which means I oversee engagement across various of our communities and support our different accelerator programs. When international companies come and join us as part of the program, they're also plugging into a community of medical device, therapeutic, and health tech founders, as well as experts and successful entrepreneurs who've been exactly where you are. So people who've navigated entering the US market, who've raised here, who've built clinical stage companies from the ground up, that peer network becomes one of the most valuable things you take away from the program. And it doesn't expire when the program ends and you graduate. So the way we keep that community active is through curated events and networking opportunities that we do as a team. We're intentional about who is in the room. So we have a big network. We invite a lot of our people from medical campus, member institutions, and from different parts of the world as well. So the connections you make are relevant to where your company is and what you're trying to accomplish here. So the way we keep that community active is through events and networking opportunities like morning cappuccino connections, midday luncheon launches, and evening happy hours. So there's always an opportunity to connect no matter how your day is scheduled and structured. So as you go through this program, our goal is to make sure you leave not with just knowledge, but with relationships and a community that will continue to support you even after the program.
Thank you, Allie. So to dive into a little bit of the logistics of the program and what both the biotech and medtech programs will look like specifically, we're excited that this is a joint recruitment process and that we are recruiting for both and selecting for both the biotech and medtech cohort. You'll see here that selection will happen at the same time for both cohorts, but the timelines for each respective cohort are a little bit different. And we'll go into those details next. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Eliana, who will talk through those details, starting with the biotech program.
Thank you, Devin. Can we go to the next slide? All right. So as Devin has showed in the previous slide of a timeline, we are recruiting for both cohorts, and specifically speaking to the biotech cohort. The program will virtually kick off in August after interviewing and selections, and we will have a virtual program element to it. And then we will head into a 2-week intensive program. Throughout our virtual program and our 2-week intensive in-person program here in Houston, there'll be focus areas of various workshops, lectures, panels, and firesides of content covering U.S. healthcare and market landscape, U.S. regulatory pathways, clinical development in the U.S., market access, reimbursement, and investor and capital market access. So going through this program will end with a final showcase on September 30th. And as we go through to the next slide, after the program has ended, companies will have access to therapeutic labs, which is a wet lab incubator space. In this facility, we have specialty equipment like a 5-laser flow cytometer, BioCore, and equipment to run research and development for some of the product development or therapeutics you are working on. After the program, you may have access to this space up to 3 months, and you could activate your usage of our therapeutic labs within 90 days of the program start date. That is to note, companies must secure their own insurance and visas during this period of time. And this will go for the same as the medical device labs when we review the medical device lab and medtech cohort program. Can we go to the next slide? Just to talk about a little bit of cohort 1, we had 5 companies in our first cohort. There are a few companies working towards their U.S. presence here. I could speak specifically to LinkMed. I had an opportunity to see Yuki just last week in Bio and the week prior here in Houston. And then today we actually had an opportunity to chat with their scientist that is relocated here to Houston to take advantage of the therapeutic lab space while he's doing some product development here on their therapeutic products. So these 2 companies are actively working towards U.S. presence while activating their usage of our facility here. And then there's ongoing U.S. partner conversations for 4 of the additional participants in the first cohort. So we continue to monitor and stay in touch with these participants. And once you come through the program, you're forever part of our community. And so we hope to remain in touch even 6 months after the program. Go to the next slide. As discussed earlier, this is just a timeline view, more detailed. Right now, our applications are open till July 10th. We'll have a virtual orientation kickoff on August 17th. And then we have a 2-week in-person visit here that will be September 21st to October 1st, with the showcase event happening on September 30th. And then again, you'll have 3-month access to the TMC ecosystem and dedicated space at the Innovation Factory. And if you would like to tap into the usage of our therapeutic labs, that is an opportunity we could explore after the program as well. Next slide. Up, just more details here. One thing I'd like to note, when we do virtual programming, the virtual programming will run October 17th through the 4th. That is to say that we will not use every single day. Each company, we're expecting about 4 to 5 hours of commitment. So you may have a one-on-one session with your entrepreneur in residence, while other companies may not. So we are working between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, which is a very short window because we want to also be respectful of your time zone differences as well. Just hold a block of that time, but we will not use every single day within October 17 through September 4 for virtual programming. We will have a group orientation and maybe 1 to 2 virtual workshops, but we will determine the official program plan within the next few weeks as we go through interview to assess the program workshops for the participants that are coming into the program. 2-week and just to share a little bit more, during your 2-week visit, you'll have 3 networking opportunities. Your program graduation will be showcased where our community and ecosystem invited, in addition to strategic partners and investors potentially. You'll have one-on-one meetings with your entrepreneur in residence. Our strategic advisory session will happen during this time, and we can share more during orientation once you are selected to join the program. You'll have office hours with subject matter experts that are leading our sessions. You'll gain access and exposure to our TMC ecosystem. So there will be tours of our ecosystem. And so it'll be a very rich experience, but high intense and full speed during those 2 weeks while you are here. All right, to the next slide. All right, let's talk about our medical device program. Now, while we are recruiting for the medical device cohort right now, this program will kick off a little bit later in the year. So we go to the next slide. This program will be very similar to the biotech program. We'll kick off virtually with orientation in December, and then it will lead into a 2-week intensive program, which will include the areas for critical U.S. growth that will cover U.S. healthcare, market landscape, U.S. regulatory, clinical development in the U.S., market access and reimbursement, investor and capital markets. Very similar to the biotech focus areas, except strategically and content focused for medical device cohort. We'll go on to the next slide. Medical device labs, similar to therapeutic labs, companies in this medical device cohort will have access to our medical device prototyping facility. And for this part, I would like to introduce my colleagues, Jose Guzman and Jason Sakamoto, to share a little bit more about medical device labs.
Hey everybody, Jose Guzman, Program Manager for Medical Device Labs. I kind of support the team on the operational side for this facility, making sure that everything is running how we're supposed to run it, and also support companies that live within the facility itself. Other than that, we also have entrepreneurs in residence, and any type of support that TMC provides to these type of entrepreneurs in residence, I'm kind of helping the team accomplish. I'll let Jason Sakamoto, our Associate Director of Medical Device Labs, to tell you a little bit more about our space.
Thank you so much, Jose. Ohayou gozaimasu. My name is Jason Sakamoto, and it's my pleasure and privilege to work in this facility for the past 3 years. It is truly a engineer's Disneyland. And if you do choose to spend some time with us during your stay, I can assure you this 26,000 square foot facility will be very impressive. It was purpose-built for rapid prototyping. Our goal is to be able to identify problems and work with you and identify solutions. And with our equipment, with our facilities that you see here, as well as our 3D printing capabilities, I can assure you we can help you with any rapid prototyping needs that you may have. And I look forward to welcoming you and allowing you access and provide you access to our resources here. So I think I'll hand it back to Eliana.
Thank you. All right. As I mentioned, with therapeutic labs, if you were to tap into the use of the facility at Medical Device Labs, you may activate that usage within 90 days after programs start, and you'll have access to the facility for 3 months. With that to say, companies must secure their own insurance and their visas to be here, but there will be no charge to access the space, except if you were to do a special project with a special equipment at Medical Device Labs. All right, to go on to the next slide. Okay, to go through the timeline details again, July 10th, we are closing recruitment applications. We will do interviews shortly after. We will select the companies to join the Medtech cohort. The virtual program orientation will kick off in December, and then 2-week on-site will be in February. And again, you'll have 3-month access to our ecosystem, to space in our innovation factory, and then forever become part of our community. I believe the next slide will even have more details. There we go. Similar to our J-StarX Biotech program, your virtual program will include group orientation, onboarding, one-on-one meetings with your TMC advisor, preparation meetings for your 2-week visit. Again, while these dates are going to be from December 7th through the 11th, and then as well as January 11th through the 29th, we will not take up all your evening time for those dates. We are expecting about 4 hours of programming for participants during those dates, and we will operate in a time zone that is moderately okay for each TMC side and the Japanese time zone side. As well as your 2-week will include through networking events, program graduation. So that will include a showcase event, a strategic advisory session where you'll be able to obtain feedback from our team members, office hours with those leading your curriculum sessions and subject matter experts. This cohort will also have ecosystem tours and access to some content that'll be rich to help you prepare for US go-to-market. Those dates for your on-site visit will be February 8th through the 19th, and program will be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right. Thank you so much for your time today. I know that was a wealth of information. Today on our call, we have an extension of our team, Amelie, on the call. So we are happy to take any questions if anyone has any questions in English or Japanese, because I could support it in English and Amelie can support it in Japanese. I do believe this is set up as a webinar, so you may have to type in your question, I believe. Is that correct, Wakawa? Yeah.
Yes, correct.
All right. Does anyone have any questions? And we'll just give it a couple minutes. If there are no questions, we could just close the webinar.
Yeah, before closing the webinar, can I introduce the application process from my side? Yeah, thank you so much. Let me share the screen. 見えてますか？はい。それでは私の方からアプリケーションプロセス、応募方法について簡単にご紹介させていただきます。J-StarX のウェブサイトに行くと、こういったページに飛ぶかと思うんですけれども、ちょっと下に行っていただいて、この J-StarX Biotech Medtech Accelerator プログラムというページがあるので、この詳細を見るのクリックをお願いします。下に行っていただくと、ここに募集要項があると思うので、こちらから、申し込みフォームに飛ぶことができます。簡単に先ほど TMC のチームからご紹介いただいたので、 プログラムの流れを簡単に説明します。今回の主な対象企業は、バイオ創薬と医療機器分野のスタートアップ、日系スタートアップさんになっています。主にR&D フェーズを終了し、治験の実施、もしくは治験開始に向けた準備を開始した企業の参加を想定しております。先ほどもご説明があったように、最初に国内プログラムでオンラインの国内レクチャーを合計3から4時間ほど実施して、次に2週間の渡航プログラム、最後にフォローアップという、帰ってきてからフォローアップという形になります。ちょっとここに記載のミスがあるんですけれども、渡航参加された方は最大3ヶ月ですね、TMC のラボなどを契約していただくことが可能です。ただ、参加企業負担について、現地でのラボ施設使用にあたっての損害保険の加入が必要となりますので、具体的にこのラボの使用を検討している方は、一度事前にご相談いただければいいかなというふうに思います。はい、オンラインセッションは、バイオテックは8月17から9月4日の間、メドテックはこの期間のだいたいレクチャーとワンワン含めて各社3から4時間ほど実施いたします。渡航プログラムはこのようなスケジュールになっております。バイオテックが9月末から10月の頭、メドテックが2月の頭から中旬という感じです。はい。ちょっと下に行っていただくと、その前に費用負担ですね。今回のプログラムの費用負担は、実路による費用負担は、現地でのメンタリング、オンライン現地滞在中のメンタリング、ワークショップ、イベント開催等の各種プログラム料となっておりまして、参加者による費用負担は、国内移動費だったり、米国の渡航費、プログラム参加にかかる宿泊費や、その他生活費やビザ代などになっております。今回の選考のプロセスに関しまして、こちらにから応募フォームがありますので、こちらをクリックしていただいて、必要事項を記入いただきます。募集の締め切りは7月10日金曜日の23時59分、日本時間となっております。この応募フォームの提出にあたって、ピッチデックとピッチ動画を提出いただきます。ピッチデックについては、大体、最大15ページほどで、左に記載しているような事項をご記入いただければと思います。また、Google ドライブや Canva の URL に変換の上、申し込みフォーム上でペーストしていただいて提出いただきます。たまにアクセス権がない方がいらっしゃいますので、あとは誰でも見れるようにアクセス権の付与をお願いいたします。また、資料は英語でご作成ください。プレゼンテーションビデオについても同様に、最大3分で使用言語は英語にてお願いいたします。こちらは、YouTube の限定公開 URL に変換の上、申し込みフォームにてご提出ください。AI の生成動画は審査の対象外となりますので、ご注意ください。はい。以上が、応募プロセスの説明になります。はい。改めまして、もしここまででご質問等ございましたら、Q&A よりお願いいたします。このプログラムではですね、現地渡航の期間中に TMC 内外のメンターやアドバイザーととにかくたくさんワンワンで話せる機会があるというのがとても魅力だと思います。去年の参加者の方は、海外にどういう形態で、どういうタイミングで法人を立てるべきなのかとか、米国のどの地域に攻めていくべきなのかとか、クリニカルトライアルをどのように進めて FDA 承認のプロセスをどういうふうに得ていくべきなのかとか、そういう具体的な相談を各社のステージに沿った目線で、本当にいろんなメンターの方、アドバイザーの方に相談できる機会になっています。特に米国展開を真剣に見据えている企業さんには本当におすすめのプログラムになっていますので、ぜひご応募ください。改めまして、応募締め切りは来週の金曜日の日本時間7月10日23時59分になりますので、皆様のご応募をお待ちしております。ご質問がございましたら、J-StarX の質問フォームか、私のメールアドレスまで、送っていただければと思います。今、チャットに送ります。はい。So, that's it. That's all from me. If you have any comments from TMC team, posted.
I think no additional comments from our side. We're very excited to start receiving applications and are looking forward to learning more about all the amazing technologies coming out of Japan.
Thank you. So I will upload this video on the website so people can access to this anytime. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. And that concludes our information session. And we hope to receive your application and look forward to seeing many of you in Texas. Thank you and have a great day. ありがとうございました。以上で、インフォメーションセッションを終わりにいたします。ありがとうございました。
Thank you.